Hello everybody, Tracy Sizemore here, RPG Day 2018, Day 21. Which dice mechanic appeals to you? This will be short and not a big surprise, but my answer will be the Savage World dice mechanic. Savage Worlds, that is. There is really only one main dice mechanic for Savage Worlds, and it's super simple, which is partly why I like it. Super simple. You roll 2 dice, you take the best result of the 2, and if you've got a 4 or better, you succeed. That's Savage Worlds. Now, there are a couple of subtleties, but not very many. Like, every 4 you get over the target number is a raise. And raises can be cool, extraordinary successes or whatever, and they can have mechanical effects. If you fail to roll, well, you fail. If you'd roll double 1s on those 2 dice, you critically fail. And there can be negatives or modifiers to your roll. So the target is always a 4, but you might have a -2 to the roll. So if you're rolling a d6 plus a d8, and you roll a 3 and a 2, you're not going to succeed. Even if you roll a 5 and a 3, you won't succeed because you've got a -2 to the roll. That's it. I can explain Savage Worlds in less than a minute to people. Now there are other things, but most of that stuff can be covered as you play, and that, because it's simple, it appeals to me. The other thing that appeals to me about it is that it's a roll-up mechanic. The idea of exploding dice. So if you roll at the top of the die, if you're rolling a d6 and you roll a 6, you're rolling a d10 and you roll a 10, you take that result and you add it to another roll that you roll after that. So if you roll a 10 on your d10, you take your 10 and you take your dice and you re-roll it. If you roll another 10, you add that 10 to the first 10 and you keep going. And you keep going until it stops exploding. So you could have extraordinary results. This is the second reason I like the Savage Worlds dice mechanic, because there's reasons. There's subtle reasons and overt reasons. The overt reason is that you can have unexpected, amazing results from something you did not, that you would not have thought would happen, right? All of a sudden, yeah, it's a -4 to the roll, and you only are rolling a d4, but you never know. You never know. And so you're going to roll your d4 plus your d6 wild die, take the best of the 2, and let's say you roll a 4 on that d4, and there's a 25% chance you're going to roll that 4. And so you've got a 4, and you keep rolling, and you roll another 4, and that's an 8. You roll another 4, and that's a 12, and all of a sudden, -4, you've got an 8, target is a 4, and you've got a raise. And it's something that you would not have thought you could do, but you did it. And that is cool. It's that surprising ability to do things that you would never thought you might be able to do. Now there are certain things you just can't do, and you won't roll for those things. But if there's a slim chance, you'll roll, and you might succeed, even if you really are bad at it. The second and more subtle reason that I like that is that it takes pressure off of shy players. So if you're a little bit of a shy player, or a player who's not very good at coming up with cool and interesting ideas to do, like you just want to play your character and you just want to have fun playing what you have in front of you, and you're not necessarily either interested or capable of being super clever, or maybe you're too shy to be super clever or whatever. That exploding dice mechanic can make you, that shy player at the table, look like the hero of the day. And that is really cool. When you, as a GM and as a player who has played with people like this, when you really are desperate to make them, to give them a good time, dice mechanic like that, an exploding dice mechanic that rolls up like that, can make heroes out of unlikely people, both in-game and at the table. It can galvanize a table. And so there's a third reason, is that the exploding dice mechanic, when you need it most, it tends to happen. It tends to happen. When the chips are down and when you're in a desperate situation, that exploding dice mechanic gives you a chance to get through it and to triumph. And that creates an environment in a Savage Worlds game where there are people hovering over the table for a specific die roll and cheering because of that die roll. It happens a lot on Savage Worlds games. And so, and it's because of the exploding roll-up mechanic. So, there's a few reasons why I like the Savage Worlds dice mechanic. And I could go and talk about others, and I could talk about why I don't like certain other dice mechanics, but that's not really what RPG A Day is about, so I'm going to leave it at that. So there it is, Savage Worlds. Super, super easy to learn, and has subtleties that make it super fun at the table. So, there it is. I'll talk to you tomorrow.